Thanks, Kathy. Tax season has officially opened for individual taxpayers in the country, and the Revenue Service is looking to increase collections after record-breaking preliminary collections just in April. But the ongoing strike could derail plans, and joining us now to discuss this and more is the Commissioner of SARS, Mr. Edward Kieswetter. Mr. Kieswetter, thank you for your time this evening. As I just mentioned in my introduction there, I wonder, are you at all concerned that the ongoing strike might impact tax collection season this year?
First of all, any strike should be of concern to a chief executive of any organization, because it is always unfortunate when employees feel that they need a strike to have their voices heard. As far as whether I am concerned that the strike will impact on our operations, let me share with you a few facts. I heard your partner saying that, using words such as, that it's going to effectively melt down. So first of all, about 33% of our staff are on strike. A fair amount of them are not in functions that are time critical. And 99.5% of our revenue collection activities is automated and does not require, at the moment, the time criticality. So, for example, an audit can be delayed if we don't have enough audit capacity. The real challenge for us is taxpayer experience. And here we empathize with taxpayers who, for example, we cannot, today we received 27,000 calls, mainly taxpayers who want to inquire about their refund. And we're not able to answer all those calls. We have also been progressively on a journey of technology and data-driven functionality, which means that many of our tasks have been, routine tasks specifically, have been automated using data and technology. To give you a sense of what that means is in the last period since we started filing season, we already processed 2.7 million returns. More than 2/3 of that would have required no intervention by a taxpayer or by SARS. All of that work would be driven by our automated processes. About 700,000 returns would have been filed by taxpayers using our online digital services. Again, there's no human intervention required for that. I think what is also important is we have been paying out a significant amount of refunds already. So since the start of this filing season, which was the 1st of July, I can share with you that we have resolved 1.1 million instances of refunds to the value of 7.1 billion rand that we have paid out. And that was possible, again, because of automated processes that SARS have employed. This is, in fact, almost double what we paid out last year during the same period. As I said, where we take strain is in our contact centers. Since the beginning of the filing season, we have had almost 330,000 calls and unfortunately quite a high abandonment rate, partly because of just staff shortages in our contact centers and now exacerbated by some of our agents being on strike.
So, Commissioner, I hear you say that it's not, it might not have as significant an impact as unions perhaps are making it seem. But as you say, the contact centers are being impacted. I wonder, are you looking to resolve this as soon as possible in order to have full capability through this season, or full staffing complement throughout this season? Or are negotiations just a little bit more tenuous than you had anticipated?
No, I think we must also understand that the unions have to be more frank in what they communicate. And I'm not going to speak for them. But I have, since the beginning of this process, personally engaged with our trade unions. I've informed them the following, and the public should know this. One, SARS does not determine its own funding level. SARS receives its funding through a process that is managed by National Treasury. And so therefore, I cannot decide how much I want to give for salary increases. I have to work within the funding allocation I am provided for. And I've shared this transparently with the trade unions. Secondly, I have opened up our accounts and I've shown them exactly how we use the money allocated by Treasury and therefore what money I have available for additional recruitment, where we have to recruit in areas where we are struggling, as well as areas what we then have available for funding. They know the number. I said I have 70 million available that I can use towards some relief to our employees. So that's not new information. We also said to them, we can only negotiate on other non-financial and employee value proposition aspects. We cannot come to the table with a higher number. So it is mischievous of trade unions to say that the SARS commissioner has something in his back pocket and is being intransigent or being uncooperative. It is clearly not the case. My hands are tied in terms of, and I don't want to sound here as if I'm completely disempowered or disabled, but the reality is that SARS is dependent on funding allocation by National Treasury, as all other government departments are. We are all financially constrained, and what the trade unions are experiencing is what is experienced across the whole of government, and they have to explain why that is not a acceptable explanation from us. To insinuate that there is a sinister agenda on the part of SARS, again, they have to explain why they would think that is a narrative worthwhile peddling.
All right, Commissioner. Lastly, tax season has officially opened and people should be filing their tax returns as fast as possible. There have been some teething issues around the auto-assessment, but overall, how would you assess how the tax season has performed so far?
We have to reschedule the conversation around that. I unfortunately have a schedule. We were waiting for you. But let me tell you again, I'd happily talk to you. The broad experience by most taxpayers have been positive, and I would love to engage you on that at another opportunity. Thank you.
All right, that's the SARS Commissioner there, Mr. Edward Kieswetter, joining us in Johannesburg.